Welcome, everybody, to the Just Add Bourbon podcast. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr.
Don J.D.
And it is another beautiful Sunday evening here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. And we've got a great show for you guys today. A lot of fun stuff happened over this week and over the weekend, specifically for JD and I on Friday night and for our community. So we're going to kind of just jump right into it because we got some good topics tonight. We think it'll take a minute to talk. So we're not going to do our normal BS thing that we do at the beginning. But we do want to shout out a couple of things. Number one, we'll start with the sad note. Terrance Clark, guy that played for University of Kentucky basketball team last year, really didn't go the way I'm sure he wanted it to. Just was injured, was killed in a car wreck Thursday evening out in California, and it was really, really sad. JD, he was one of those kids that on the sidelines, he was hurt and the year wasn't going the way that he wanted it, but he was the biggest cheerleader on that sideline, had a smile that would light up a room. And I know all the Big Blue Nation's just devastated, at the death of Terrance Clark.
Yeah, man, anytime a young man gets cut down like that, in an accident, whatever it is that happens, it's just tough. Once you go to put that blue and white on, man, you're a Wildcat, baby, and that's what we feel about Terrance Clark, and I'm sure his family's hurting. My thoughts are with his family. I'm sorry that things happen, man. Life sucks sometimes. I mean, just straight up. But I mean, like you said, man, like he was a big cheerleader for his team, and we're talking about a guy who's probably the best basketball player on the court all his life until he come to UK. So take a lesson from that, you young athletes, if you're listening. Sometimes you got to sit back. Sometimes you're not the right person in the right seat. That you cheer those guys on when you get a chance, and your time's going to come.
Yeah, and it was really sad, too, because, B.J. Boston and him were actually out in Cali training together, getting ready. They had just signed with an agent, was getting ready for the draft, and B.J. Boston was actually behind him and actually drove up and,
really?
And had to find his friends. Yeah, man, it was really sad. It's going to mess with Boston. Anything like that, you see one of your friends, die essentially would have to be devastating, and it just makes you too. I know after I heard it, we were getting ready for the Donnie Baker show on Thursday night, and I told you, I was like, oh dude, Terrance Clark passed away, and I got home and kind of processed that a little bit. It made me really sad, because like you said, once you put on the blue and white, you're part of the family. You're part of Big Blue Nation, and so just thoughts and prayers go out to his family, to the other players, his teammates, B.J. Boston, his family, all those people. And, we're big Kentucky fans, JD and I are, and, we just felt like we wanted to talk about that. So, two, and end on a brighter note with UK sports is our women's volleyball team. The Kentucky women's volleyball team won their first ever national championship last night in women's volleyball. It's actually the first championship in women's volleyball for the SEC, JD, and it was really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, I think this also rounds us out as far as national titles go with our sports program. We won a national title with all the significant sports, and now all the sports that we participate in, we've shut it down. We won a national championship. The girls volleyball team or the women's volleyball team rounded it out for us, and it was just a cool experience, man. Like you said earlier, had we played last year, that they probably would have been 2020. And if they get to come back, everything seems to be going, looks like it may be 2022 as well.
Yeah, man. And, it was cool because, Addison's been playing volleyball, and we got a chance to sit down with her and watch the game and the significance of it. And, just as far as women athletes are concerned, because, dude, those ladies are athletes. It is unreal how high they jump and the way that they hit that volleyball. It's crazy. I mean, how good they are. And it's really neat because you got the lady that was the player of the year, national player of the year, that is the setter for the team. And her name escapes me right now, but, she's setting it up, and you've got three essentially spikers coming to spike the ball, and she's just deciding, sometimes she's popping it backwards, and it's perfect. But you got three people jumping, and everybody's like, where's it going? And then one of them just destroys it. It is just vicious. So it was fun, man. I know all of Kentucky last night was behind that team because we don't have professional sports teams. So anything Kentucky is playing in, when it gets to that level, the whole state rallies around them, and they were playing for all of Big Blue Nation, and Terrance Clark passing, it was just something to have some joy about in the sports world in Kentucky. So I thought that was very cool, and congrats to those ladies and Coach Skinner. That was awesome. Like, I had a ball watching it. So man, let's get into really the topic that you and I want to talk about the most anyway. Sure. We've got multiple topics tonight, but as far as like Friday night, JD and I, the Just Add Bourbon podcast, brought to Inez, Kentucky, a comedy show headlined by Donnie Baker. And then opening acts were Johnny Miller and Chris Abels, and then our boy JD emceed the show. And JD, just real quickly from my perspective, I just wanted to say, I want to thank you, man, because it was your idea, right, that came up. Hey, we should have a comedy show. We were trying to raise money for the community center. And JD was like, dude, we could do this, and we can maybe get Donnie Baker. And the board kind of backed JD on this and said, okay, let's go. And then once that happened, once we knew we had Donnie, JD and I went to work, and JD said it best, so I'm going to let him say it. But you kind of saw me and JD at what we do best. And it was kind of us going together. And I'll kind of let him explain that. But I had a ball, JD. Like, it was really fun. I thought you killed it. Like, JD's set was great. I got to hear a little bit of it as we were doing sound checks on Thursday night. But JD's set was great. Chris Abels, dude, we've had him on here. Yeah. And he killed me. And what was so crazy about Chris, JD, is he was riffing most of the time, right? Like, he was playing off the crowd. Like, he was just making that stuff up as he went, and it was hilarious. Yeah. And then Johnny Miller was fantastic. I mean, like, he had me in stitches back there. Like, I was rolling. And, of course, Donnie Baker's Donnie Baker. You know, right. I mean, he's just a man. So kind of tell me from your perspective about the show and kind of the experience for you.
So it was crazy, man. Like, it was I can't imagine that anybody that was in that building Friday night didn't have a wonderful time. It was that good. The comics were that good. The atmosphere was that good. Our boy DJ Fletch J was that good. The sound was great. People were ready to get out and have a good time, man. We was partying. Inez, Kentucky showed up, showed out. It was just – it exceeded my expectations of how good it was going to go. You know, I had people tell me that looked like we have done that show 20 times, you know, but we just got together and did it, man. And your boy Chris, I love that dude, man. He's hilarious. I told you all. I told you, I said it on this podcast before too. I can't wait till you get a load of these guys. Because Chris and Johnny Lee, I apologize. I keep calling him Johnny Lee. His name's not Johnny Lee. He was like, bro, my name's not Johnny Lee.
Yeah, I wrote a check out, dude, to Johnny Lee Miller because JD said that was his name. I wrote the man a check, Johnny Lee Miller.
Anyway, Johnny, they're both funny guys. Great to work with, great experience. It was great. Like, everyone was having a blast. It's been a long time coming to have something like that in the county. Absolutely, Richie. And, you know, it was cool to see me and you at our best of what we do. You handled the business side of things, and I was hooking up the social part of things. You know, making sure that the seats were where they needed to be. You know, the comics were getting what they needed. Everything was checking out back there. And I know you. I guess somebody come to you and ask you a question. You was like, "Hey, that's a JD question. Go ask him."
Yeah, JD takes care of that in there. I got this. Yeah.
And so, I mean, if it weren't for the Just That Bourbon podcast, it never would have happened. But you killed it on your end, and I felt like my set was pretty good, man. I felt really confident about my set. Going into the show, every time I told a joke and I thought the laugh would be there, it was there. And I don't know if maybe they was just taking care of the local boy or whatever, but I'll take it, whatever. I had a good time.
No, I thought you killed it, dude. Like, I really did. I thought you did good. And I want to shout out, too, real quick, because Richie commented here. I want to thank Richie and Tommy Maynard, Inez Hibachi for their sponsorship. And also for Richie losing $50 on stage, it getting set on fire. So I want to know, Richie, if you would tell me, because I was standing back there and like I was still kind of doing my thing, right? I was in business mode right until Donnie came on, right? So I was back there doing my thing, working, making sure people were, taking care of my side. And I would step in and watch JD do his thing because I wanted to watch JD and I wanted to watch Chris, but I was still in business mode. during all that time. Like I didn't settle down and come to myself, my normal self, until Donnie Baker came on. So I saw Richie up there with Chris, and Richie pulls some money out of his pocket. It's a $50 bill, and Chris sets it on fire. I don't know. Did he actually set his $50 bill on fire?
Yes.
Oh wow! So we're going to give Richie $50, dude.
I think he put it out. He put it out. I think it's all right, Richie. I think your $50 bill is cool. No, he was worried about it. I was like, bro, I can't believe I did that. But I love the way he followed it up. He was like, so does anybody want to volunteer for my song and a half act? It's like, no, bro.
Oh, that was so funny. I mean, it was because I was like, dude, Chris really just lighted his $50 bill on fire, because Richie's face was priceless, right? Because he was just like, and I thought, dude, I think he actually set that $50 bill on fire. And but no, it was great. But shout out to those two guys, Tommy and to Richie, for their sponsorship and for being good sports during the show, because they were sitting right up front and and getting hammered on, of course, by the comedians but those two guys are always there, dude, when it comes to our community. And if you need some support, you can always count on those two guys, to kind of come through and help. And so it was much appreciated, guys. If you're still watching, we thank you for your support. And for Glenn Martin Hammond, Glenn didn't get to come to the show, but he's still sending the check over as a sponsor, because he's just that kind of guy himself. So we really, really appreciate that. And so, but no, the show went really well, dude. I had a ball. Like it honestly went better than I expected. Like I thought that we would have some kind of crazy screw up, but everybody was cool. The comedians were funny. Everybody was laughing. Everybody walked out. Like I went back out to the front, and for the sole reason of when people were leaving saying, "Hey, did you have a good time?" And everybody was just smiling and laughing. And yeah, dude, it was awesome. Thank you all so much. And like we had, and I think it's important, Tommy and I were talking after the show, and all the businesses around the community center, all the restaurants, the gas stations, everything, were busy. And, we were kind of talking, dude, we could do that. Our county judge came, Victor Sloan came, and what I loved about it was Victor's wheels were spinning, dude. Like you could tell he was thinking. I said, Victor, we could do this once a month in Inez, in Warfield, whatever. I said, and draw something in. We cannot be a pass-through county. You don't have to pass through us to go anywhere. You have to want to come to us. And events like that can create energy where you can bring dollars in from other counties. Instead of us going into other counties, JD, and spending our money,
Absolutely.
We bring them into our county and let them spend it here.
Yeah, that was the best thing, man. I know there was people from Paintsville, there was people from Lawrence County, there were people from Prestonsburg, people from West Virginia. And that's what you got to do, man. You're going to be in Martin County. You're going to have to draw that money in to the county. Because like you said, it's not a pass-through county. You're not going to pass through here to get to anywhere. So you got to have a destination. You got to be a destination. You got to have things that are going to pull people in. But I got to be honest, man. Like I don't think I've ever had a better time on stage than being in front of my hometown crowd and telling jokes. And I think I was better than what people expected. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I think the people didn't expect me to be that funny. But I felt really good about my set, man. But they started dropping. People started laughing. I was like, okay, it's on now. Let's do this thing.
No, if I'm being 100% honest with you, when you and I first kind of started talking, and it was a random way, like I said, at the softball field, and then there was a thing with the water district at one time where you and I kind of were chatting back and forth some, and we were talking about your comedy stuff, and you were sending me sets, and some of it was funny, some of it wasn't, right? Yeah. And you were still figuring out your delivery. You were figuring out different things. You were just starting. Yeah. And like, dude, you were 100 times better the other night. Like you were a comedian. Like you were up there doing your thing, man. And it was awesome. I thought your set was great. And that's not me just blowing your head up. Like I was back there laughing at you and your jokes because it was good. And I thought you went toe to toe with the other openers. And these guys are professional comedians. And I thought you handled yourself very, very well, dude. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the same feedback so far, man. But I'm glad, man. I'm just so glad that everyone got to come out and have a good time, man. We sold that place out, bro. We packed it out, had a blast. We raised some money. Everybody had a great time. And that's not, man, people are going to remember for 30, 40 years from now about, man, we went to Martin County and watched Donnie Baker. And those other guys weren't bad either, And it couldn't have got better. It couldn't have, I don't feel like I don't think anything could have went any smoother than what it did. I think everything just fell together. And they were great to work with, man. It was another great thing.
Yeah, Donnie Baker was so cool, man. He was so nice. And I was telling JD, I said, it's cool. Like Chris I've met, right? We talked Chris on here.
Right.
But it was so good to meet Chris in person, dude. He's the nicest guy. Like, he really is. He walked Jimmy Don and, gave me a big hug. And, it was just cool to meet Chris. And then he went up there and friggin' slayed it, dude. Like, he was so good. And then Johnny was so good. And they were so nice. And then Donnie Baker, I was telling JD after the show, I was like, it's crazy. Like, these big-time comedians, right? Like, he was so professional, as far as the way that he wanted us to bring him on stage, the way that he wanted to introduce him, the whole thing. It was so professional. And then he was really cool about bringing people in. And I gotta give Jimmy Fletcher big props, dude. DJ Fletch J set the tone from the start and kept that crowd pumped up with the music that he chose and the whole thing. I got to give that dude mad props because his equipment was on point. They even bragged about how good the sound was, like how good it was. Like, we brought all these people that were in Martin County together and put this thing on.
Yep.
It was crazy. And like I said, dude, it was awesome because Victor was there and Victor and I were talking. And I was like, dude, you could do this every month. This could be done. Like, we have a tourism board in the county. This is the kind of thing they need to be working on. Things like this and get people on their board. And I'm going to throw a shout out right now to somebody to be on the board, and that's JD, because JD thinks different. JD thinks about entertainment and how to entertain and things that you can do. And you need a mind like that on that board. And just to have the different thought process about the different things that you can do in a community. And like I said, you can go over to Warfield, dude. And Warfield, do it on both sides. Do it in Inez. Do it on Warfield. There's different, there's pluses and minuses to each side, right, of having it on these different places. So you could absolutely do it there. But I think they ought to consider you for the tourism board for sure.
So I put my name out there. I want to be on the tourism board. I feel the same way. I feel like I need to be on it. I feel like I can help. I feel like I can think differently than what the people on there are doing. But I just not going to text said that there's no openings. They're going to put somebody else in that person's spot. You're going to get the same old thing, man, you've always got. Sounds like to me. But, it's unfortunate. And maybe going forward it'll happen. Who knows? Whatever.
Well, I just think that is, look, one of the things about our community where we are so small, and we are a very religious community. Mm-hmm. And nothing wrong with that. That's actually an important part of life, I think. But
sure.
But there are more people in our community than the people that go to church every week. And like I said, and I'm not talking about bringing comedians every week. Have a gospel singing. Bring in a bunch of gospel groups and have a singing down at the courthouse or over at Warfield. Bring in comedians. Bring in different bands. Bring in just anything that you can think of from an entertainment value and let people come in our community, go to these things. And you can make some money. You can it builds community spirit. It's everything, dude. I mean, there's just so much that can be done. And it really did make me happy because Victor's wheels were spinning. You could tell he was thinking, all right, what could we do?
Yeah. People don't understand the connection that is, man, that we just made. Because people, and it's not just me and Jimmy Don. Jimmy Don, honestly, bro, I can't do what you did. I can't do it. That's not me. It's not who I am. And I don't feel like you can do what I did because that's not you.
That's not me.
But as a team, man, we're pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
People need to understand the connection that we just made, guys. We had Donnie Baker, who is a headlining comedian nationally. I mean, that's a big deal, guys. And the guy that represents him, what do you tell us after the show, Jimmy Don?
We'll come back.
All kinds of people. We got all kinds of acts we can bring here to this county. Guys,
and they said, we'll come back. We loved it. They loved how it went. They loved the energy, man. I mean, the energy of the show. Like, I asked Johnny, I said, what was it like being up there? Was the energy good? He was like, oh, my God. He said it was great. It was good energy. And that's a lot of people to stand in front of, JD. I mean, there was 300-plus people in that room, and that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I talked to Chris today. He mentioned me. And I was like, how'd it go last night? Because they went to Illinois last night. He was like, bro, it was good, but Friday night was my best. That was amazing. So, y'all, the community showed up and showed out too, man, for sure.
Yep.
Well, like handle this for a minute. I gotta go pee. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And what I was going to say is, like Richie was saying, cage fights, but you could get OVW wrestling. Like, Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio, is now the owner, of OVW, and they're looking for venues to come and put a show on. You could do that. You could do OVW wrestling. Like I said, guys, it's about being, to me anyway, it's about making the town a destination. And if you can have an event, and Keisha, what you're saying here, it would be good to do a big show monthly if we could start out. I agree. We could find something to do. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be comedians. We want to take care of everybody in the community. And those folks that go to church and do gospel singings. There's all kinds of gospel groups you could bring in and do these singings. You could do the comedians. You could do other musical acts. You could do more comedians. There's just 1,000 things we could do. OVW wrestling, tough man contest. There's 1,000 things that could be done at different places in the county where you could bring people through our community. And what happens is they're going to come to a show there. They're going to eat there. They're going to do all that, dude. And you can generate a lot of revenue for your community. And what little Tommy, or I call him little Tommy. Sorry, Tommy. Tommy Maynard made a post, and he said it. When stuff like that happens, it creates jobs because the people, these different places are going to have these venues, people coming in. It creates jobs. It's what you absolutely should be aiming for with a goal like that. And JD and I and the community just showed that it is possible and it can have support.
Absolutely, man. Like you said earlier, I'm not against having the gospel singing in there. I'm not against having religious people coming in, but let's do more than just that. There's more people in this county than just the people that go to church. And those people will come out and spend their money just the same as the people who go to church will. And we need to cater to all those people and have a vision, man. Like, they're going to go out to eat. They're going to get gas. They're going to get hotel rooms. And that's what that's what we need. We need money to circulate in this county brought in from outside the county.
That's right.
That's how you build a tax base.
100%, because what happens right now, JD, when you go shopping, what do? Most people leave the county.
Absolutely.
To go do anything, and we're going to the library board, shout out to them for working with us on this after we turned the direction of the day-to-day over to them. They were big supporters of that too, just, helping us get through and making sure the center was ready to go. We go out of this county and spend our money all the time, and we need to spend our money. A, we need to spend our money in Martin County, but B, we need to make other people, give them a reason to come here, see how beautiful our town is. It's beautiful when you drive through town, and see how beautiful our community is, and spend their money here.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a hibachi restaurant in downtown Inez.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
We've got the Dairy Bar, the Dairy Drive-In, Miss Ida's or Shuffling Cafe, Cloud9. Go over to Warfield. You've got the Dairy Bar over there.
Mexican restaurant.
Yes, Mexican restaurant. We've got the stuff. We just need to help those people have businesses here. And guess what? If that happens, more businesses will come. You know why? Because they make money. Right. And that's the kind of thing you want to do. And JD's dead on. You've got to cater to your entire community, not just one sector of it, not just one sect of it. And you can't allow stuff not to come in because you don't agree with it. You've got to be open to all these things happening, and it will build, and it will be a good thing for the community. And I hope everybody sees that and sees what is actually possible.
So there's the thing about that, man. Like, I understand, some people don't like Donnie Baker. I get it.
Sure.
I really do. He's a little bit crude for some people. I get it. I really do. Don't buy a ticket. Just don't go listen to him. That's all you got to do. Don't go. He won't affect your life at all. But for those of you who enjoy that thing, let's make those things available. Let's get people out. Let's bring whoever we can bring in here. If they're going to bring in a crowd that's going to go spend money in our local businesses, that means there's a job out there for my son. There's a job out there for my daughter now because we're doing that. Then we should be doing that, bro. Period.
Yeah, and I can't think, honestly, over the years, outside of, your Harvest Fest or your, back in the day over in Warfield, what was that called in Warfield, JD?
Liberty Fest.
Liberty Fest was awesome. I used to love to go to the Liberty Festival. That was all we really had. And, as far as we've never done anything, or our government or whoever has never done anything really for entertainment value for our community. It's always been going to a basketball game or something like that, and that stuff's fine too. I want to do that too. But I didn't have to leave Inez, dude, and I got to see a headlining comedian. It was awesome.
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not been a single event, a single night event that's came to our county in the last, I'm going to say 30 years since I've been in Martin County, that has brought that many people from outside of Martin County into the county. Mm-hmm. And we pulled that off, me and you.
Yep.
With the support of some other people too. The library board, the community senior board, they seen that they got on board with us, and I appreciate that. But guys, we gotta be forward thinking. We gotta realize that just because you're not maybe into it, that doesn't mean other people weren't. There's a reason. There's a reason Donnie Baker's got millions of people following him on YouTube or Instagram, because that dude's good, man. He's a good comedian. And if we get a chance to bring somebody else in like that, then we absolutely ought to, period.
State law. No, man, he was a riot. He was hilarious, dude. There's a reason, and he's not exactly like my brand of comedy. Okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Right. Man,
his brand of comedy is not really my type, but he was hilarious. You can't tell me, dude, having karaoke, I don't know, God, I could just come up with 1,000 things that could occur, if you kind of forward think and go outside the box and think differently than what we've ever done here. I'm telling you, it would be different. Like I said, everybody seemed to have a good time, dude. So
you absolutely have our support all the way from Winchester. Crystal Todd, thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
So I'm going to tell everybody the story of how this all happened, man. So I was put on the community center board along with Jimmy Don and a bunch of other guys. Well, you had been on there for a while.
Yeah.
But you kind of put my name out there for everybody to talk about. And so I got on the board. And the community center board was obviously going through financial struggles. And I reached out to Chris Abels. And I said, Chris, how would you like to come down, man, and do a comedy show? And I thought, we'll make $500-600. We'll sell $10 tickets, and we'll make $500-600, hopefully. And he goes, bro, that sounds amazing. How would you like to have Donnie Baker? The answer to that question is always, fuck yeah, I want to have Donnie Baker. Always, every time. And so that's when I started getting momentum. That's when I went back to the board and said, look, guys, we got a chance to get Donnie Baker. You guys on board. And everybody, to the credit of the community center board that we had, was on board with that. And it ain't been easy though, man. We've had to work to do this, right? You've had
I've worked.
How much have you had to proofread contracts and go over everything?
Read contracts. I set up the ticket system.
Yeah.
Just sell the tickets. All that stuff. Yeah.
And you learned a lot, didn't you? Right. I'm sure
I learned a ton. I could do it again. It'd be a whole lot easier to do it again.
Right. And so it wasn't like an easy thing, man, to do. So these things just don't happen. And that's what I'm talking about, the tourism board. These things just ain't going to fall in your lap. You got to be actively looking for those people to come into your community if you want to make them happen. We was super blessed to get somebody like, Donnie Baker. Oh, Crystal, you're about to start talking about my subject now. And, Jimmy, I think you're right. I think Inez might be on the map now, bro. Because I'm going to be honest, you killed it.
You killed it, dude. Killed it.
And the crowd, the guys, I'm telling you, I've been in some bad crowds. No matter what said what, they just wasn't a good crowd. But Jimmy, you come out and set the tone. I come out and I feel like I had some good stuff going on and got people laughing. And that all night long, man, people was laughing. I had a guy tell me he's like, bro, I about fell out of my seat when you told that joke.
Well, look, I've been to comedy off Broadway. I've been to a lot of comedy shows, and ours, as far as the presentation and the way that it went off, was as good as any I've been to.
I agree.
And they said it. They were like, wow, man, this is awesome. You guys have done a good job here. And like I said, Jimmy, listen, when Chris was talking to Jimmy saying, how drunk are you, Jimmy? Now, Jimmy ain't had nothing to drink, okay? Nobody had anything to drink. Let's make that clear. I got asked afterwards if Donnie Baker was drinking a beer on stage. And I was like, no, it was a prop. He asked us to he asked us to bring him a empty beer can. It's a prop. It's a show. So, and then Chris was like giving Jimmy hell about being drunk. And I swear to God, I was back there crying because I know Jimmy and a lot of our crowd knows Jimmy. So, but I was back there crying because Chris was just killing it. And, but no, absolutely. DJ, I mean, like I said, it was a community effort. JD and I led that effort, but there was a lot of people who kind of came around to make that happen. And it was just a hoot, dude. Like, I had a ball. And the fact that I got to do that in my hometown of Inez was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, like I can't imagine anybody being there that night, Friday night, and not having a good time. I mean, you can convince me you was there and didn't have a good time. The music was popping. The comics were funny. And it was just a great night, man. JD's MC tempo and presentation made.
Yeah. Oh, your MC tempo and presentation. You're right, dude. It made it feel like it was a real deal comedy show. It was the real deal, dude. We had Donnie Baker, and we had the Redneck Connection, and then we had JD Dameron of the Just That Bourbon podcast emceeing the whole thing. It was crazy, man. It was so good.
Yeah, I feel like everybody got their money's worth, man. Like
absolutely,
$30 for a 2-hour show with that quality comedians going on stage, and DJ Fletch back there killing it.
Like, you had that good community center popcorn and drinks. I mean, my goodness, what more could you want? So yeah, but no, it was great. We appreciate everybody that helped us make that happen. I had a ball. Sitting there just talking to all those people as they were coming in, kind of doing my thing. That's really my strong suit, what I was doing. And then watching JD kill it, dude, I was like, absolutely. It's awesome.
I want to ask you, man, like, did you expect me to be that funny?
Yes. Just because I had heard a couple of the jokes,
right, yeah,
and they were better than what I had heard before I had heard you do. And I was like, okay, he's ready.
Yeah.
Like he's ready. But now I'm around you a lot, though, right? Like I knew, I was like, okay, JD's going to be ready for this. I know you're a gamer.
Right.
And I was like, JD's going to be ready. It's a lot of people. And, like Amy even messaged me. She's like, how's JD doing? I've worried about him all night. Did he do okay? And I was like, dude, JD killed it. You ain't got to worry about JD. I was like, he went up there and slayed it. Like he did his thing.
So what was your favorite one, man? Do you have any favorites?
No, your mom's joke.
So I got to
that one slayed, but I know your mom too, right? So that one absolutely killed me. So what is a good age to break? Yeah, that was a good one too. That was a good one too.
The key to that joke, man, is like all the setup around it. Anyway, so I go home Saturday morning. I walk out mom's. She was like, "So I heard you was over talking on stage talking about me." I was like, "No."
That's funny. What we need is Larry the Cable Guy and plenty of bourbon. Absolutely, Sean Todd. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to have Larry the Cable Guy. But look, we got Donnie Baker. So we're kind of on the map now where those guys will talk and say, look, dude, if you can get in Inez, they will put on a heck of a show and, you'll have a good time.
So, everybody knows how this works, man, right? The network. I mean, now we've got these connections. They're going to be connected to other people, man. So, like, there's no telling what might happen next. I'm ready to get back on the ball, get back to work, and make some other moves because I want to see things in Martin County, man. I want to see our people hosting events. I want to see our people coming out and laughing. I can probably get Southern Mama. Hey, bring on there now.
Bring it on, dude.
Yeah. Put me in connection with him, Sean. We'll set it up, bro. But Sean, it's good to see you there, man. I know you had a good time.
It's good to see Sean. I hadn't seen him in years.
There was a lot of people, man, I hadn't seen in a long time. I hadn't talked to in a long time. And like I said, man, I don't think they expected me to come out and have that kind of performance. I really felt good about my performance. I thought it was pretty good, man. I every time I expected to laugh, I got one. And I told you, though, that my writing had got better.
No, it had. Well, and one of the things that cracked me up so hard, if I'm being totally honest, is you got tickled.
Bro, I can't tell that joke about Mom.
Yeah, you got tickled, and I was about to die. I was like, oh, God, he's just dying up there. Not dying like in a bad way, but I was like, oh, my God, because it made me laugh. Like, it made me laugh harder because you got so tickled trying to tell the joke. It was funny.
How could you tell that story?
If you know Wanda, it's even funnier. Like, if you know her, it's even funnier. It's like, that is, no, it slayed me. I absolutely slayed. And then him calling Tommy the Hulk. Hey, Hulk. That cracked me up, too. Yeah, and then Richie's getting his $50 bill burnt. That was classic.
Chris is still worried about that. He's like, bro, I can't believe I burned that guy's $50 bill.
Yeah. Oh, that was classic. It was so funny, dude. I've laughed so much. No, but it was a great time, guys. It really was, and like I said, we appreciate the all the support that we got. And the county really did showed out, dude. That's how things like that can happen. Is if the community supports it when things like that go down. And you looked at how many people showed. Dude, we had 300 plus people in that gym. 300 plus. The last show that they did, which was an actual event space, they just had 400.
Right.
And we limited it to 300 because of COVID and because of the size. If I would have wanted to, dude, I could have put 100 more tickets out there and sold them like that. I mean, we could have sold that many tickets.
Yeah.
We would have went about it as far as the marketing a little differently to get that many tickets sold. Sure, we would have spent some money to get that many people in there, but we could have done it.
But man, it was great to have that crowd and that energy. The vibe was kicking. I mean, there's nothing better I would change right now at all.
No, it was a great time. It sure was.
And I was worried. You had me worried. I ain't gonna lie about the spotlight.
Well, I was worried about the spotlight because I was afraid that it wouldn't put the light. Like that was the only thing that we hadn't tested, right? Yeah. Like we had tested the sound, we had tested everything, but we had not done that spotlight. And I was scared to death that we were going to get ready to start the show, turn on the spotlight, and it was just going to be a little blink of light down there. But it was perfect, too. Nobody had to do anything with it. We just turned it on, and everybody went to work.
Yeah, because we didn't have anybody to work. And I was like, bro, we're going to leave this on. Just let it go.
And Jimmy's got a spotlight now. See?
Jimmy also has a wireless microphone now.
Jimmy's ready.
Honestly, God, man, I was, dude, super impressed. So Jimmy, DJ Fletch J, he did not go out and buy some cheap bullshit and do some little DJ business. That's not what he did. He went out, bro. He just had Donnie Baker say, "Oh, your sound's good."
Yes.
I want you to understand that's a big deal. Like that's a professional guy. If the sound's not right, he's not getting on stage. Period.
Mm-mm.
So Jimmy, you killed it, bro. All the way around. Period. You're awesome.
And the guy that we booked the show with, he was telling me, he said you'll get one or two Donnies. He said you'll get 50-minute set, and he's gone, or you'll get an hour and 20 minutes Donnie because he's having fun.
That's what we got,
and that's what we got. He was having a good time, and that dude told me that. He said Donnie's having a good time. He said because normally if he's not, he'll just do a set and roll. Do 50 minutes and get out.
I thought Donnie was wrapping his set up. And he just kept so I walked up backstage and he went on for 50 more minutes. I was like, damn, I would have said that. I watched it.
Yeah, no, man, he was killing it. So, all right, let's jump into another topic. We spent 40 minutes talking about that. So
I'm sorry, man. It was just a great night.
It was fun. We had a good time. So it's we wanted to talk about it on here, and heck, we helped make it happen. So we wanted to toot our own horns a little bit, and and thank all you guys for making it such a success. So our serious topic this week is the Derek Chauvin verdict came down. He was found guilty on all three counts. And, people were celebrating, and I don't even know how to really approach this because I have two thoughts about this, okay?
Okay.
Number one, the dude was clearly guilty. Okay? Clearly.
Right.
And he should have got convicted. I don't know how necessarily you convict somebody on third, second. I heard a reasoning why it's like in different states you can be charged for all these different things. In Kentucky, you can't. It's either like first degree,
more serious one,
second degree, or whatever. So, But they charged him on all three. So two things. This is what I'm interested to hear your take on because, like I said, I thought the dude was guilty. I'm glad he got convicted. It was clear that he murdered that guy. Unnecessarily used force that he didn't have to use, wouldn't allow medical attention when it was asked to be given. But I also believe that jury, there was no way under God's green earth, no matter what was said in that courtroom, they were coming back without a guilty verdict on all three counts because there was so much pressure being put out there.
Absolutely.
By Maxine Waters, who should be censured. She 100%.
She's an idiot.
She's an idiot, dude. Yeah, because, everybody was going on about Trump saying things. Dude, whatever he said, she was worse. She should have been censured. And then Biden comes out and says something before the verdict comes out. Those people, they were going to dox those jurors, dude. They were going to put their information out there. They were making sure. And I don't know that a verdict on mob rule is something that we really, really want to happen in this country.
So here's what you get into, man. And you also got to look at the past, man. Had there not been videotape, you think that guy would have been convicted?
No. I think the videotape was so egregious that had they not, he was done, dude. As soon as that videotape got out, he was done.
But if we didn't have a videotape, that guy would definitely got away with that, I think.
Yes, I think you're right.
And so I think that's the thing that's happened over and over again that people were fed up with, and why there was such a – now about the doxing thing, I don't know. I can't speak to that. About Maxine Waters being an absolute idiot, what she said, that was idiocy. Basically calling for violence is what she did, which I think is absolutely uncalled for, especially by a state senator or state representative, whatever she is. Absolutely uncalled for and out of color and out of line. Absolutely, she should be removed from her seat, really, in my opinion. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, bro. You say stupid shit, I'm going to call you out on this, period. But you're right, David Harris. I'm definitely with you.
You're right.
So here's the thing, man. So we had another incident happen. It's hard for me to talk about all this, man. I know. I'm sorry, but I'm not pro-cop. I'm not anti-cop. I want people to know that. I love cops. I understand they're in a very tough situation, but I also know there's a lot of cops who are just dickheads. Period. But now I feel like, the cop that shot that girl in Columbus was absolutely justified in doing what he did. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
She was about to stab another woman, and he shot her. And then the Black Lives Matter protesters want to go out and cause a big ruckus about that. Guys, I don't care if you're a Black Lives Matter. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat. What that cop did right there was the right thing. He saved the life. If you're going to pull a knife and try to stab somebody in front of the cop, you can expect to be shot, period. I'm not going to try to tase you. I'm going to try to negotiate with you. I'm going to shoot you.
Because you can end up with 2 dead girls instead of 1 because she ends up stabbing the one and kills her, and then you got to shoot her anyway.
Now what? And then what? And then, oh, my God, why didn't you shoot her before she killed her?
Yep.
Or why didn't you shoot him? Why didn't you shoot her in the leg? Because I can't miss a leg or an arm and then it's straight down the street and kill some kid playing in the yard. So about the Derek Chauvin thing, though, man, I will say that, they shouldn't have been able to get any information to those people. If whoever was trying to dox them or Maxine Waters talking or Joe Biden talking, hopefully, whether our judicial system works, they should have been sequestered and they should have been, where they wouldn't even feel any of this heat or this pressure because they shouldn't even know what was going on. They should have been withheld from them. And if they did, they were in violation of law. But I'm glad they come to the right verdict. What I don't like is that, it took this, that, and all this to get that verdict. But I don't know that it necessarily took all that, man. I think that videotape was so damning and so damaging. That guy was out of luck from the very get-go. I may be a little naive.
No, I think you're not naive. I mean, because look, that was so damning. Look, even I am Mr. Pro Cop, right? And I know you are too. You have to have a good police force to maintain some level of civility,
sure.
Especially in bad neighborhoods, in places where things are worse. You've got to have a good police presence. And like I said, I don't think that you defund police and all these words that they say. I think you spend more money, but what you spend more money on is recruitment. Because the cops need our help, dude. They're in a tough situation no matter what.
Sure they are.
They are. And there's bad cops. Like you said, there's some just bad cops. These guys that are doing this stuff, that Chauvin guy's a bad cop.
Pretty.
He's a bad person.
Right.
And he has no business being a police officer.
And I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of this, man, was it about race? I don't know. I just think he might have been a terrible person. And it may not have anything to do with race. He may be the racist person in the world. I don't know. But I know cops who aren't racist who are still dicks. They put that badge on their chest and their head swells up. They're allergic to it, the badge or something. I don't know what's going on. But, glad to see the verdict come down and our jury do the right thing. I just don't. I think, and here's where the Black Lives Matter messed up. I've said this on this program before. Picking people to make heroes out of people who they're not heroes. George Floyd, first off, George Floyd's not a hero. He's not a good person. He wasn't a good person. But he didn't deserve to be killed in the street by a cop either.
Right.
Michael Brown's not a hero. And some of these people they're not heroes, but they don't deserve to die at the hand of the cops. But now, sometimes your cops hands forced, and they got to do what they got to do. I think that was the case in Michael Brown. And I think this is the case, the same thing in Columbus. And I think where the Black Lives Matter messes up is choosing martyrs where those people ain't martyrs, man. That girl that got shot in Columbus, she's not a martyr. She was going to stab somebody else. She deserved to be shot, bro. As bad as I hate to say it, she deserved what she got.
And then you have people like LeBron James come out and make that tweet that he later took down saying, hashtag you're next, showing a picture of that cop.
Well, I said you're next. Then the hashtag was accountability.
Oh, accountability. Sorry. Yeah, you're next. And then hashtag, thank you. So hashtag accountability. But yet, that's LeBron James, dude. You put that guy's picture out there, guess what?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to go looking for that cat.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, that's where this whole movement has got to be careful. Because cops aren't always right. But they're not always wrong. And we have to, I claim to myself to be an issue-by-issue person. And that's how I just feel. Let's just say the louder for the people in the back. We are all humans. Absolutely, Jimmy. And cops have their biases and they have their weaknesses. The media has their, LeBron James is human. He's going to tweet some dumb shit from every now and then. And here's where you get into with the things about LeBron James and even the Donald Trumps of the world. Who's running their account? Like, I'm sure sometimes they tweet out some shit that they're like, man, why did you tweet that for? You're like, I pay you a good salary to tweet.
Right, to be smart with your tweets. Yeah.
Be smart. And so, I don't know. I've always thought that too. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, I think the Black Lives Matter movement needs to make sure they pick people who were killed unjustly instead of just picking every black person who's killed. Because
even Nancy Pelosi, JD, came out and said thank you to George Floyd, for your basically like thanking him for dying. The dude's still dead. Well, you don't thank him for dying. It's dumb. And she did that in an open, everybody had to have – look, here's my opinion about politicians and everybody else, all right? When it comes to matters like this, shut up. If you're not the attorney general, the person doing the case, if you're not George Floyd's family, shut up. We don't need to know your opinion on everything. We don't need to know LeBron James' opinion on everything. We don't need to know every movie star's opinion on everything. The LA Raiders put out a tweet about I don't care what you think. I care. George Floyd got killed. He did not deserve to die. He was not a great person, but at the end of the day, he did not deserve to die. No one deserves to die in that manner, period. But like JD said, he's not necessarily a martyr. Don't make everything that happens a martyr. In some cases, these cops are well within their rights. And if that was your kid that was about to get stabbed, you would thank that cop for doing what he did.
Absolutely.
And it's sad, and like I said, I've always said that too. Is there a way that you could do something where you could shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the hand, shoot him somewhere where you wouldn't kill him? But when you're in that situation and it is that quick, you've got to take him down.
So they don't get trained to do that, man. So just so we all know that, like, cops don't get trained to shoot limbs or legs, because when the cop takes a shot, it's to neutralize the threat, get rid of the threat. And the threat is supposed to be imminent danger, right? Which in the case of the Columbus lady, I think it was. She was imminently in danger. The girl was about to get stabbed was in imminent danger. You're taught to shoot center mass because it's the biggest target, and they're going to go down. Now, if you're taught to shoot arms or legs, and what if you miss, man? You kill those kid down the street.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know that we can do a whole lot there, man. I just don't.
I don't either. Like I said, I think cops. I think when you fund the police, it's not to go out and buy more riot gear and militarize the police. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is provide better training for de-escalation, to try to de-escalate a situation before it gets to that. you need to try to educate our communities that, hey, when a cop pulls you over, no matter what, put your hands up on the wheel, be respectful, and if you do that, probably nothing's going to happen.
Well, I'll take it a step further, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think a police force should reflect the community they serve. If you have a community that's 75% black, but you got a cop force that's 97% white,
Don't make sense.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So we need to have, Lisa Painter, reform. Absolutely, we got to have reform. We got to find people who reflect the communities they serve, that look like the people they serve, who are educated like the people they serve,
and understand what the people in those communities are going through.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got a long way to go. I think education is the absolute key to all this. I'm talking about poor communities. I'm talking about the cops, people where they're recruiting from, the areas they're recruiting from, all that stuff. Education, man. We all need to be better educated and understand how to deal with. Here's what I think. I'll finish with about the cop thing. Everybody's like, oh, that's what they're trained to do. Well, sometimes the training sucks. Because if I can de-escalate a situation and save somebody's life, that's a person I don't have to shoot now. It's a person I don't have to have a conversation with now. Then we should be training our cops to do that. To a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Right. That's a good saying, yeah.
And so we need to find a way to fund our police departments, where they're getting good training and where they're getting mental evaluations, man. I want to tell you, like Derek Chauvin, I'd say he was he had 18 violations, man, of policy.
He was a jerk.
He was a jerk. And I don't know how much it has to do with racism. But I also understand the optics. It looks like that white guy is choking out that black dude on the corner for over 9 minutes. That's why I understand why they're. But the problem is that a lot of these cops haven't been held accountable in courts once they went to court. And, I'm glad they made the right decision here. I don't know why they made it, but I think it was the right decision at the end of the day.
Yeah,
because that film was so damning, man. It was so, dude. I remember watching that and how bad my heart hurt. And the guy crying out for his mama, and I can't breathe. And I don't care how bad a person you are, man. You don't deserve to be a cop. Don't deserve to be the judge, jury, and executioner. Period.
No, I agree. And like you said, and I think some of the training at times is probably pretty good, but they get it once and then they're out on the street, right? That I think it was Jocko. We were talking about this one time before, and I heard Jocko on Joe Rogan said that 25%, 1 day a week, those cops should be in training for de-escalation and different things like that. That's where you need to put the money. So that they're trained to do that, how to react to certain situations and get training on that stuff. Most of the time, dude, they go through the academy, they're put out there, and they got to figure it out. And you just hope that they're a good enough person and understand what they're doing enough not to pull their gun every single time they get scared, because that has to be a scary job, dude. And I heard an interesting take this morning that I never really thought about, but I'm actually going to put some thought into it, is that 50% of our populace is armed. And so you don't know who's got a gun and who doesn't. So they may be quicker to the trigger because they don't know who or who doesn't have a gun. Now, I don't know that I agree with that. I am not for gun reform in that way. But it was an interesting comment that I heard, and I thought, I need to put some thought into that.
Yeah, I agree with all you just said. But I don't want to lose focus that George Floyd was well under control for over
100%.
For a long, long time.
No, that's why that is so bad, is because he sat on him for 9 minutes, dude, and the ambulance showed up and said, hey, he needs medical attention. He told him no.
Right. So, also, that's why I feel like body cams, technology we have today, man, these cops, they shouldn't be allowed to turn their body cams off.
Mm-mm.
Because if you turn your body cam off, there's a reason, usually. You don't want to see what's going on. But if I was a good cop, I would never want my body cam to be off. Because you could see that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing all the time.
100%, man. I can't agree with that more. So, yeah, I think that was a great discussion, JD, and, something big this week. But I do want to close the show because we're about 55 minutes right now with a movie. I know, right? With a movie. I watched Mortal Kombat. and I was really excited for Mortal Kombat, right? Because I loved that game when I was in college, dude. We all had our player, and we played every day. I was always Liu Kang, so I'm always excited to see him in the movie.
Right.
But I had mixed feelings about the movie. Did you watch it?
I watched it, man. I had mixed feelings as well. Real excited to watch it after watching Kong or Godzilla versus Kong. Then I watched Mortal Kombat last night, actually. Man, I had mixed feelings about it in that, I don't know, man. Like, I always want that story to be told so good, but you only have so much time. There's so many characters. There's so much going on. It's just hard. I don't know.
I thought the acting was suspect.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think the acting was great. And I think with great acting, that could have been a decent movie. But there were times I'm like, dude, who? I don't know why. I was just sitting there watching, and I was like, dude, why do they pick this person? Yeah, they kind of look like him.
Liu Kang was terrible.
No, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Sonya Blade was terrible. I actually did like the Jax guy.
Jax guy was pretty good, yeah.
I liked him, and I liked the guy.
I like how they did Raiden. I like that either.
I didn't either. But it was like, I know it's basically going to be a trilogy, right? So, at the end, it kind of comes up and it shows that, he's out looking for somebody and he's looking for Johnny Cage.
Right.
So they're actually going to do a trilogy, which my guess is going to lead up to the actual event of Mortal Kombat. So it may be that you've got to see the whole thing to really appreciate it. But it was okay. Like, I wasn't mad I watched it, right? I didn't feel like, God, I've wasted the last hour and a half. It was fine, but it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
No, I agree with you totally. I'm not mad that I watched it, but I probably won't watch it again. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was good enough to watch, but I won't watch it twice.
Yeah, no, I probably won't either, to be honest with you. Like Kong versus Godzilla, I
probably watched it 3 times so far.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. And I thought they disrespected Kong a little too much because I'm a Kong guy. Right. But at the end of the day, Kong, he's the king.
Yeah, when he took apart Mega Godzilla, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're cool."
Oh yeah, we're good now. Yeah, no, which was pretty awesome, and kind of Transformer-esque. And I thought they did a much better job with that than most of the Transformers movies and the way that was done. I thought it was so good. But no, I was so excited to watch Mortal Kombat, and then when I got done, I was like, I didn't really care for that. Like yesterday, no joke. I got up right because we were out till 1 o'clock in the morning or so, trying to get done with the show. Sure. And I had to get up early the next morning and go close a bunch of deals. I had a bunch of closings yesterday. And so I went and got that done. Came back home. It was after, 1, 2 o'clock, something like that. Sat down, fixed me a bite to eat real quick. And then I wanted to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So I watched that. It goes off, and I think I'm going to watch Mortal Kombat. But I passed out. And I slept for like 4 hours. So then I got up and I watched Mortal Kombat, and then I watched the national championship game. Like, it was a good rainy, lazy Saturday afternoon. I really enjoyed myself, to be honest with you. And apparently I really needed some sleep. So
I got up yesterday, watched Mortal Kombat. Amanda came over, hung out, and we went and got Cole. She brought a true crime game with her where you kind of solved the murder and all this.
Oh, cool.
And Cole come over and hung out with us. Apparently Haley was wanting to, but Cole didn't tell me. So we just hung out, and that's what we did, man.
Well, Haley was here.
Go, bro. I'm about to pee again.
My goodness. All right. Lord, the man, look, don't drink beer when we're doing the show. That's all I can say, right? I mean, we need to tell him this in the comments. Just don't drink beer. We don't want to see you have to go pee. But no, his daughter was here. That's why she didn't go up there. And then my daughter was with her afterwards. So, what do you do? But all right, so I'm going to close the show down here, guys. We appreciate you. Thanks for all the comments tonight. Makes it fun to do the show with comments. Thanks to those who came out and supported the Donnie Baker Show. Hopefully, we'll get to do some more of that down the road. Of course, guys, you know where you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. Podbean is where I actually launched the podcast from. Of course, JD is running all our social media, doing all that. Glad you're back. And guys, as we always end this thing, from myself and from JD, no matter how bad your week's been, no matter how bad your day's going, if you just add bourbon, it always gets a little bit better. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, guys. We will see you next Sunday.